Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Other one. All right, guys. So when we were checking the valves, luckily they were in spec. I'll show the specs for hot cams here in a little bit. But when I was doing that, we realized that the timing mark is just a little bit off. Obviously, I have the case off. It's actually a little further up this way. And once you do that, you can see it's off a little bit. Now, what I did was I pulled the tensioner out. And you can check over here and see what the tensioner, even looked like I took the spring out, but this is where it was set at. So it's almost completely maxed out. That's maxed out. So what we're going to do is put a new chain in it, new timing chain, and just to be safe. We don't want anything blowing up on us when we're going down the track. So put a new timing chain on it. You pull the stator cover off. Just got a couple 8 mils around the outside here, and it just slides right off. It's a little tight because it is magnetic and whatnot, but then you got to get a puller. This is a Motion Pro, and you just get an impact on this. You screw this on, get an impact on this, and then you hammer on it, and it'll come right back out. So let's do that and see what this chain looks like. Now, I do recommend draining the oil, because if you don't, this is going to be full of oil, and you'll just make a big mess all over your frame. So drain the oil, and then get this thing on there. It's on level 1. Gotta get that thing to level 3. Just like that. And then you just unscrew this from this dude. Okay, so I'm going to pause it here real quick. I thought I hit the play button, but I hit the pause button, so I didn't actually get to show you guys how to remove the chain. On the right side here, you can see the right chain guide. It has two 10mm bolts that hold it in. You remove those 2 bolts, and that guide will slide out. Now, once you do that, you can go to the top and use an impact or something. You can just remove the cam sprocket with the chain on it, pull the sprocket out, let the chain drop down through, remove the chain. Kind of a little bit of a pain in there, but it's not all that bad. And to put it all back together, I fished a little wire down through the top, pulled the chain up through, and hooked everything back up. You can see other videos on YouTube on how to do this. Okay, so everything's back together, and we have the tensioner all tightened back up. Now, what in theory, we should be able to take this off, take the spring out, and then unbolt these 2 8 mils and pull it off and see where the adjuster is compared to where it was before. So we're gonna try it out, see how much slack was in the old chain versus the brand new one. Wow, massive difference. This thing was out to here the first time we pulled it. So new chain, fix the problem. Make sure this is facing down. Let's put everything back together. I got the flywheel back on. Just make sure the shaft is nice and clean, and it just slides on and the keyway's in here. What I do is I put this back on here, screw it on a little bit just to snug it up, to press this on just a little so it doesn't come off very easily. When you're putting the stator and everything back and the cover back on,
Being that it's magnetic, it kind of sometimes they want to pop back off if they're not securely on there. Clean up the outside so you can get a nice clean seal with the either gasket maker or a new gasket. Once we have that on there, we're going to retime it, make sure it's still where it needs to be, and then check the valves. We should be okay, but it's always best bet to double check. Alrighty, the T's there. We turned the engine over a few times and then came back counterclockwise, got all lined back up. She's right on the money, so we should be good. Now, the top, the cam bolt gets torqued to 43 foot-pounds. Bottom one down here gets torqued to 36 foot-pounds. So we'll do that here in a little bit. Ryan is finishing up on the exhaust system. We're going to polish it, clean it up real nice. And really, the quad just needs a couple more things. We've got to get a plug for this still, put some fuel to it, make sure there's oil in it, and this thing should fire up. We do have the guy come. Oh, here he came, and he kind of got some measurements to do the air intake. He's gonna have a 3D print a little box here for us so we can mount the silicone and hose from the carb to his little box or whatever he's making, the adapter, I guess, and then we're gonna have the cone filter here as well. So yeah, we're getting there, slow and steady, but to run it, at least fire it up, we do not need the air filter on it. The tuning will be a little different once we do have everything on, but all in all, she's looking pretty good. So hope you guys are enjoying this build, and we'll continue here. Hopefully next week we'll get this thing fired up. All right, guys, God bless.